Have you ever felt completely broken, like you were just spinning endlessly without a clear purpose? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we explore a powerful tale about shaping your own destiny. This is the story of the potter and the clay, a journey of mastering your life through constant daily resilience. Long ago, in a quiet village nestled between towering mountains, lived an old potter named Elias. Elias was known far and wide for his magnificent creations. His hands moved with a rough yet gentle grace, turning simple mud into exquisite vessels. But Elias did not seek out the finest, purest clay for his masterpieces. Instead, he ventured deep into the rocky riverbeds to find the most stubborn, heavy, and coarse dirt available. One morning, a young apprentice named Julian arrived at the humble workshop. Julian was eager to learn the secrets of the master. He watched in absolute dismay as Elias dumped a lump of hard, unyielding earth onto the wooden table. It was filled with sharp pebbles and dry twigs. Julian scoffed at the sight of it. How could anyone make something beautiful out of such a terrible mess? Elias smiled warmly, his eyes twinkling with ancient wisdom. He looked at the boy and spoke softly. "You see only the flaws," Elias whispered, "but I see the hidden strength within." Resilience begins when we finally embrace the raw, imperfect material of our own very fragile human lives.
Elias began the difficult process of purifying the coarse earth. He did not simply wash away the impurities, he crushed the hardened lumps with a heavy wooden mallet. Bam! Bam! The rhythmic pounding echoed loudly through the small, dusty workshop. Julian winced with every single strike, feeling as though the clay was being mercilessly tortured. "Why must you hit it so hard?" Julian asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Because," Elias replied, without breaking his steady rhythm, "before we can be shaped into something new, our rigid habits and stubborn pride must be broken down. Life will pound on you, Julian. It will test your limits and crush your expectations. But this crushing is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to soften you, to prepare you for the water of wisdom." Elias poured a small bucket of cool, clear water over the pulverized dirt, kneading it vigorously with his calloused hands. The water mixed with the dust, transforming the dry ruin into a pliable, cohesive mass. The potter leaned in closer, sweat glistening on his forehead. When life breaks you down, you must add the water of patience and true compassion. Only then can your broken pieces bind together into a stronger, more flexible foundation. The pain of the crushing is only the very first step toward building true greatness. Julian stared at the wet clay, slowly beginning to understand the profound metaphor unfolding right before his eager young eyes.
Now came the most crucial phase. Elias picked up the heavy lump of wet clay and threw it down forcefully onto the exact center of his wooden spinning wheel. The wheel represented time, constantly moving forward without pause. He pumped the foot pedal, and the wheel began to spin rapidly. He placed his wet hands on the clay, but instead of pulling it upward into a tall vase, he pushed it down firmly. The clay wobbled violently, trying to slide off the very fast surface. "Centering!" Elias shouted over the loud whir of the wooden wheel. "Before you can rise, you must be completely centered. If the clay is even slightly off balance, the entire vessel will collapse under its own weight as it grows." Julian watched as Elias used his entire body weight to steady the unruly lump. It took immense effort. His tired arms shook, but his core remained perfectly still. Slowly, the erratic wobbling stopped. The clay became a smooth, perfectly balanced dome spinning quietly in the middle of the wheel. "To master your life," Elias explained, "you must find your absolute center amidst the chaotic spinning of the everyday world. Your core values, your deepest beliefs, and your unshakable daily resilience must anchor you. Without this solid center, sudden success or unexpected failure will throw you completely off the wheel. The wet clay hummed smoothly, completely tamed and fully ready to be transformed forever by him.
With the clay perfectly centered, Elias finally began to pull the walls upward. He pinched the spinning earth between his wet fingers, applying gentle but firm pressure. The clay yielded to his touch, growing taller and thinner with each graceful rotation. Julian marveled at the emerging shape. "It looks so incredibly easy now," the young apprentice remarked softly. Elias chuckled, a deep rumbling sound. "It only looks easy because the foundation was set correctly, but even now, danger is ever present." Suddenly, Elias pressed his thumb just a little too hard against the inside wall. The delicate clay buckled under the pressure, folding over on itself. A deep, ugly crease ruined the smooth surface. Julian gasped in sheer disappointment. "Oh no, you ruined it!" he cried out. Elias did not panic. He did not throw the clay away in frustration. Instead, he slowed the heavy spinning wheel and placed his hands firmly around the damaged section. Slowly, deliberately, he pressed the folded clay back down, thickening the walls once more. "Mistakes are never the end of the journey," Elias said gently. "In life, you will undoubtedly face setbacks. You will make bad choices, and external forces will sometimes dent your progress. True daily resilience is not about avoiding mistakes entirely. It is about having the courage to fold those painful errors back into your growth, learning from them to build an even stronger, wiser version of your own true self."
The master potter patiently reworked the damaged vessel. With renewed focus, Elias guided the clay upward once again. This time, he moved with greater awareness, respecting the limits of the material while still pushing it toward its highest potential. Slowly, a beautiful pitcher began to take shape. It had a wide base for stability and an elegant, sweeping neck. Julian watched in quiet awe as Elias crafted a delicate handle, attaching it seamlessly to the body. The piece was undeniably stunning. "Is it finally finished?" Julian asked eagerly, stepping forward to admire the intricate craftsmanship. Elias shook his head slowly, stopping the wooden wheel completely. He wiped his muddy hands on a rough cloth apron. "No, my boy. A vessel may look beautiful while it is still wet and pliable on the spinning wheel, but right now it is entirely useless. If you poured water into this pitcher today, it would dissolve back into the muddy sludge we started with this morning. It lacks permanence. It lacks enduring strength." Julian looked utterly confused. Then what must happen next to make it strong? Elias pointed toward the back of the small workshop, where a massive brick kiln radiated a fierce, intense heat. "Now the clay must face the ultimate test," Elias explained solemnly. "It must go into the absolute darkness and intense heat of the blazing fire. Only the fire can completely lock its final shape into total, enduring permanence forever." Elias carefully lifted the wet pitcher and placed it gently onto a wooden board. He allowed it to air dry for several days until it was completely brittle and cold. Then the dreaded moment finally arrived. Elias opened the heavy iron door of the massive brick kiln. The glowing orange flames roared furiously inside, casting deep shadows across the small, dusty room. Julian took a step backward, shielding his young face from the intense radiating heat. "It will surely crack and burn in there," Julian whispered fearfully. Elias nodded with a serious expression. "There is always a massive risk, but without the severe heat, there is absolutely no transformation. Life will undoubtedly put you through the fire, my young friend. You will face devastating losses, deeply painful betrayals, and massive failures.
In those dark, terrifying moments, you will feel like you are burning alive inside a dark room with no exit. Elias slid the fragile pitcher directly into the center of the raging inferno and sealed the iron door shut. During your hardest trials, your character is permanently forged. The heat burns away all remaining impurities and solidifies your inner core. Daily resilience is deciding to endure the blazing fire, trusting completely that you will not turn to useless ash. You must believe that you will eventually emerge infinitely stronger, fundamentally changed, and entirely unbreakable on the other side of your darkest hours, ready to face the bright new dawn.
Days passed in agonizing silence. Julian checked the sealed kiln every single morning, wondering if the beautiful piece had survived the terrifying ordeal. Finally, the flames died down, and Elias declared it was time to open the heavy iron door. The thick heat had dissipated, leaving behind a profound stillness in the room. Elias reached deep into the dusty ash and pulled out the newly fired pitcher. Julian let out a loud gasp of sheer wonder. The vessel was no longer a dull, fragile gray dome of dried earth. It had transformed into a stunning, vibrant terracotta masterpiece. It felt solid, dense, and infinitely more powerful than before. Elias tapped the side of the pitcher with a hard wooden stick. Instead of a dull thud, the ceramic produced a bright, ringing musical note that echoed beautifully across the workshop walls. "Listen to that pure sound," Elias instructed with a massive smile. "That is the undeniable voice of true resilience. It has survived the crushing hammer, the drowning water, the chaotic spinning, and the blistering fire. Because it endured everything with constant daily patience, it is now fully ready to serve a higher purpose." Julian ran his small hands over the smooth, hardened surface. He suddenly realized that the most valuable things in human life are never the things that come easily. They are the things that require immense struggle, fierce dedication, and absolutely unwavering, persistent personal courage each new day.
Years flew by, and Julian eventually became a master potter himself. Whenever a new apprentice complained about the brutal work, Julian would smile and tell them the profound story of Elias and the stubborn clay. He taught them that we are all completely raw earth, waiting to be boldly shaped. The daily hardships we face are simply the spinning wheel, pushing us toward our true potential. The crushing blows, the unexpected mistakes, and the searing fires of adversity are not punishments designed to ruin us. They are the essential tools required to craft a life of deep meaning, solid character, and brilliant strength. You hold the ultimate power to shape your own destiny. When life beats you down, do not stay broken on the hard floor. Add the cool water of inner compassion. Find your strong center and allow the fire to forge your unbreakable spirit. Your resilience is your ultimate masterpiece. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey today. If this story sparked a fire within your soul, please leave a like, share it with a friend who needs some encouragement, and subscribe for more motivational tales. Remember, your daily resilience is the clay that builds your glorious future. Keep spinning, keep growing, and never let the fire consume your beautiful dreams. We will proudly see you in the next fantastic story episode very soon. Stay strong, always, everywhere you go in life today.